Hi everyone, to start with you're going to need a piece of crumb cake cardstock. This piece measures 5 5/8 by 3 7/8 of an inch. I've got my greeting here that comes from the Alfie stamp set. And what I want to do is I want to place him about there from the bottom. So I'm going to use my grid lines here and a ruler to draw a line. So I'm going to do the same with the top as well. So I'm going to place my, actually I might turn this around, might make it easier for me to draw. So line it up on my grid paper. Make sure I've got plenty of room there to stamp. And draw a line. Okay. So I have my Hemmed embossing folder here, Hemmed Metal. It's out of our holiday catalogue. So I want to do some embossing. So I'm going to line this up on the edge of my embossing folder here, along with that, matching up with that line that I've got right there. Okay, and then I'm going to run this through my die cutting machine. Okay, so then it's going to look like this, okay, when it comes out. So I'm going to do the exact same thing now to the other side. Okay, so I'm going to put it in my machine, my folder. I'm going to line it up with my pencil line to the edge of my embossing folder here. Close that up. Put my lid on it and run that through my die cutting machine again. So here's what this looks like. Now I'm simply going to flip mine over because I want to use this edge right here. But you can always use this side. Now if you choose to use this side, make sure you erase your pencil lines. But if not, you can then simply flip it over and use the chosen side here. Now we're going to stamp our greeting now into that gap. But to do so, I'm going to prepare it because we're going to do some white embossing. We're going to do some heat embossing here. So I have my embossing buddy to prepare my area. I'm going to ink this up using Versamarker ink. We're going to probably do it approximately 3 inches in, or no, sorry, about an inch in from the left hand side. I'm going to stamp this down. I'm going to sprinkle on some white embossing powder, and then I'm going to heat set that till it melts. Okay, so this is all done now, all nice and shiny and heat embossed. So I'm going to set that aside for a moment. Okay, so I have a scrap piece of Whisper White cardstock here. I have my little Alfie image here in a stocking from that same stamp set. So I'm just going to stamp him down. And I also have the little present image, so I'm going to stamp that as well. We can set that aside. Now I am going to colour these in using my Stamp and Blend. So I have my Call Me Clover. I've got dark and light, the combo pack. I have my light cherry cobbler and my dark real red. Okay, they're the two colours that I've got. So dark real red, light cherry cobbler, and my Call Me Clover combo pack. So let's colour in our little elf here. So I am going to start with my red, and I'm going to colour using my dark red first, dark real red, and colour in my little toe of my stocking. And I am using the nib end, or the bullet point end, just because it's such a small area, to help me get it all nicely in there. And then I can use my light cherry cobbler to add some shading. And to do that, I'm just going to put little bits down here at the toes. And then I can come in and blend that together. Okay, and let's do the same here for the heel. Okay, so my other little red areas here is my little hat. So I'm just going to put a little bit of red across my hat. And I'm going to bring the cherry in from the side here and blend those together. And then, what colour is that? My cherry, I'm going to put on the inside here. This is like the inside of the stocking. Okay, so then let's do our green. So we start with our, oh look at that, I've got the lids on the wrong ends. That's clever, isn't it? Let's try that. Goes there. Always helps to have the right caps on your markers. Okay, so let's go with my light. We're going to do our stripes here. So I'm going to colour the whole strip in my light. And then I'm going to add my shading to the right side with my dark. So I'm just going to use the flicking motion. A little bit of colour right there. And then I can blend that together with my light. Like so. So I'm going to go ahead and finish colouring my stocking and then we'll be back. So I've got Dark Daffodil Delight for my little bell at the top. For the hair, I'm using the bronze marker for his little hair. For his face, I've got here the ivory marker. Then simply to colour in my present over here, I'm going to use the light cherry cobbler for my ribbon. Actually, we'll blend it. So let's go dark real red first. Okay, so now that my images are all nicely coloured, I'm going to use a pair of paper snips and I'm going to cut these as close to the edge as possible. Okay, so let's start assembling our card here. So I've got my chalk marker and I've got our greeting panel that we'd previously done. I am going to do some dashes using my chalk marker just to break up where the embossing section was to where my greeting is, just to highlight my greeting a little bit more. And do the same on the other side. So I've gone ahead and I've used my trigger of punch here. I've used my corner rounder here and I've gone ahead and I've rounded off all the corners of my cardstock. And now I've got some linen thread and I'm going to wrap this around twice. Trim it off. And I'm going to tie this into a bow. And I want my bow to be sitting right inside where that greeting panel is. Now if you wanted to hold that ribbon down, that string down further, you can always use some tape here just to hold that down even further so it doesn't move. Okay, so let's stick out. I've got some Stampin' Dimensionals on the back of my little elf here, so I'm going to stick him down. I'm going to put some liquid adhesive onto the back of my present and stick him just under behind my elf. So my card base is a piece of thick Whisper White card base scored in half, and I'm just going to stick this. It's got my Stampin' Dimensionals on the back. And I can trim off these ends just a little bit more. And there's our card all finished. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in our next video.